Good morning, ladies. Happy Monday. How are you? Hopefully you had a good weekend. It has been a blessing. Let's just say that for me. So hopping on for our morning devotion. It is Journey to Freedom, Daily Grace Code book, a study on the life of Moses. And week 2, we're going to be discussing a lot about God sees his sheep. That is the topic for this week. And for week 2, day 1, it asks that we meditate on Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 through 10. And today's topic specifically is Moses meets the shepherd. And today's devotion goes like this. 40 years pass, and Moses is now a shepherd of his father-in-law's herd of sheep. At 80 years old, he has different identity and a way of life than when he was a prince of Egypt. He was taken in the humble role of a servant, patiently leading sheep across the wilderness. God is using the menial task to prepare him for a great mission. He learns the temperaments of the sheep, dependent, fearful, and defenseless. In this role, he also gains an understanding of a geographic layout. Developing probable skills of servant leadership and spatial awareness will be more important in the next phase of his journey. One day, Moses sets off to Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai, bringing the sheep to an uncultivated area in the region. In his providence, God leads Moses here. Even though he does not see God's hand, Moses is being guided by the Good Shepherd. In the distance, Moses sees a remarkable sight of fire burning within a bush. The angel of the Lord comes to him in this miracle. This phenomenon is called a theophany, a visible manifestation of the invisible God. Most scholars agree that the angel of the Lord is in the pre-incarnate Jesus, the Son of God sent as a divine messenger before taking the form of man. God's sustaining control, brilliance, and independent power are on display in this theophany. If I'm pronouncing it right, it's Theophany. The mystery of God draws Moses. God calls his name. Before Moses realizes the author of this miracle, God already knows him intimately. Moses recognizes the voice of God and responds, "Here I am." Recognizing his lordship, God's chosen people are his sheep. They answer and flock to him when called. God stops Moses and warns him not to come any closer to the flame. This command is gracious, letting Moses know that the presence of God cannot be approached casually. God's glory would have consumed Moses if he had approached it irreverently. God tells Moses to remove his sandals to protect the holiness of the place. Through the directive, God is teaching that his space cannot be defiled. Moses is standing on holy ground, set apart from the rest of the world. God initiates this encounter and introduces himself as the God of the Hebrews. He personalizes his relationship to the Israelite nation through Moses' father. Moses had lived most of his life without his real father and likely unsure of his identity. God reminds Moses who he is, a Hebrew man from the tribe of Levi. God continues to proclaim he is the covenant God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God has promised they would be a great nation, possesses the land of Canaan, be a blessing to other nations, and forever live in his presence. Living with the priest of Midian as his father-in-law, Moses must have known about God's covenant with the Israelite patriarch Abraham, found in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. Now, it has no longer a distant promise, however, but a present reality. As he realizes the glorious God before him, Moses hides his face in the fear of the Lord. He is full of respect and awe at being known by the God of the universe. God has seen the torment of slavery on his people in Egypt and has heard their prayers for relief. He has grieved with them in their suffering, and now God has come to rescue them from bondage. The covenant relationship between God and the Israelites deepens to reveal a saving component. Salvation will be a work of God based on the commitment to his word and his affections for his people. He will bring them from bitterness to rejoicing. He will lead them to the land of Canaan, a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, referenced as in Exodus chapter 3, verse 8. God will bless with abundance and plenty after years of lack. He will dispose the pagan nations such as the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. That was a lot. Though they have corrupted the land, he will establish his holiness there. God incorporates Moses into his plan of salvation. The freedom will be the result of God's divine action. God involves human obedience. He commands Moses to go to Pharaoh and lead his people out of Egypt. In today's passage, we see that the salvation starts with God alone. He works, initiates, sustains, and achieves the plan to save us from sin. We cannot save ourselves from our rebellious hearts or from captivity to spiritual evil. First, in his act of salvation in condescension, meaning God himself stoops down to our level and abides among us. We see this in the person of Jesus Christ. God came down and took the form of man to reveal the freeing love of the Father. We can rest in God's abiding presence in Jesus and trust in his saving work. That is all for today's devotion. We have 3 questions. First question is, how does God shepherd Moses? Second question is, what does God reveal about his character through the theophany in this passage? Again, spelled Theophany, and I'll have it down in the bottom of the video. And lastly, how has God freed you from sin and brought you into his abundance? And that is all for today. I hope you ladies enjoyed the passage. If you want to review, please send me a message. I hope you have an awesome week, an awesome day start, and we'll talk soon. Bye.